Time now is 10 minutes past 8.
Sorry I'm late.
We didn't ever think you'd leave Ole Miss.
It does take 4 years, Jolene. I got a job today, writing for the Jackson Journal.
Great. You can write my obituary. Charlotte Phelan, dead. Her daughter, still single.
The Help is the name of the film we're looking at here with Lena Lamont. Good morning, Lena.
Good morning, Wammo. Do we have to do it like that the whole time?
Yeah, time. This looks like a very stylish looking. Looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah.
It looks good. It sounds good. And the performances are over the top and fantastic. And I have to be honest with you, this derives from a best-selling book, apparently, which I have not read. Don't tell anyone. But I thought, well, look, you know, we're in the Deep South. It's Mississippi. There's still, wasn't called apartheid in Southern America. What was it called? Racism, basically.
Yes.
You know, segregation.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know, we've seen this kind of story quite a lot. And, you know, yeah, there are some good people in this, but I just don't really see how is this going to be good? And I loved it. So let's talk about why.
Okay.
Okay, so the basic kind of premise is that Emma Stone is our young protagonist, and Emma's turning up in just about everything nowadays. I first saw her in Easy A, but I think she was in Superbad. I'm pretty sure that was it, or was it Zombieland? She's kind of that chick.
Right.
And so she's, and most recently she was in that film with Ryan Reynolds that we talked about, Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
So anyway, now she rocks up. She's in Mississippi, Deep South. She's very, very clever. She's been off to university, comes back to her small town where all the white women of her era, of her age, had been brought up by black nannies. And black staff, and now they're of an age where they're starting to hire staff themselves, and they're kind of perpetuating this really kind of, well, obviously, this really racist, segregated life where the help have to use a separate toilet outside and all that sort of thing, because, of course, they have different diseases and all that kind of thing, right? So far, so samey, right?
Is this the 50s?
Now you're going to test me. I believe that it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's leading up to Martin Luther King and the big civil rights drive, and that was, 63 or something, right?
Yeah.
So I guess this is 50s. Yeah, it is. And the costuming and everything is, as you say, exquisite and looks beautiful. So what stands this out from being just another kind of Southern Belle kind of film with the kind of racist issues and the racist moral, if you will, that we already know, is, I think, the performances. Emma Stone is great. She's fine. But it's actually everybody around her that's wonderful. And the person of greatest note is Viola Davis, who plays the main black nanny / help maid who's grown up with these families for decades. Now, Viola Davis was, I think, nominated for an Oscar after not many screen roles at all for, I don't know if you saw a film a few years back with, it was set in a religious school with Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman, and there was this whole thing of has the priest been abusing the young altar boy? And I think it was called Proof. It was a one-word thing. I'm thinking it was Proof, right?
Yeah.
It was an incredible film. Amy Adams, Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Viola Davis played the mother of the abused, or was he not abused, boy in that. And she had very few scenes, and they leapt off the screen at you for just being so gut-wrenchingly authentic. And in this, she's very much more present, but everything she does just makes you want to, I don't mean weep, it's not manipulating you, but it just really affects you.
Okay.
And the other wonderful person in this is Alison Janney from The West Wing. You remember C.J. Craig from The West Wing? She's in this. She plays Emma Stone's mother. And there are some just wonderful lines, wonderful relationships. And let me tell you, Wammo, the thing that struck me as I came out of the cinema, a little bit weepy from it, is the bits that were emotional and really affecting were the sort of things that are across any sort of genre. It's a mother-daughter relationship kind of thing, rather than it being a black-white thing, or even an injustice thing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it not full of a lot of cliches? I mean, looking at the trailers, you got the black choir there singing. It seems to be perhaps a little bit.
Well, you know what
cliche.
they say, things are only cliches because they're
Yeah.
true. You know, so yeah, I mean, there's a black choir in it, but the black choir doesn't feature strongly. But that happens to be, you know, that's the church that the black community goes to. Yeah, I think inevitably there are cliches.
And The Help is a book.
Yes, it is.
In the film.
Oh, right. Okay, so that's the point, right? Emma
Yeah.
Stone's character, who is this very educated, liberal but white girl,
Yeah.
decides, well, hang on a second, this is not cool about the whole black help have to have toilets outside. Why don't I start interviewing? She's struggling to be a writer. So that's exactly right. She pitches to her would-be publisher, I'm going to send you a book of anecdotes from all the help in my town, talking about what it's like to be an oppressed black woman working for a nasty white woman.
So this obviously all rocks the boat.
Totally rocks the boat. So thank you for bringing that up, because you're right. That is the formative part of this movie.
Yeah.
And there are some wonderful sort of anecdotes that come out of that.
Okay.
And
Cool. All right, that's The Help, and it's got the big tick from Lena Lamont. On to the next film.
I'm Henrietta.
Isabella.
Petronella. Kim. Dear Dad, I've made it to the Alps in one piece. Life as a chalet girl has its ups and downs.
A chalet girl who can't ski. That's classic.
Still.
Life as a Chalet Girl. Chalet Girl is the name of the film.
did anybody say good performances? Not about this film. This film is really fun, but it's kind of stupid. It's very, very by numbers.
Well, it's called Chalet Girl. You know,
Yeah.
that's in the title.
Right, so the Chalet Girl thing, right, now our protagonist here is a girl called Kim, as she says. Her name's Kim, and she's from North London, which automatically means, Wammo, that she's meant to be a little bit working class.
Right.
So Kim works in a burger joint, and her widowed dad, played by wonderful British comedian Bill Bailey.
Oh, that's a plus.
That's a plus
right
already,
there,
right?
As soon as Bill's in there.
This film throws curveballs, let me tell you. So, okay, so Bill Bailey's her widowed dad, and Kim decides that she's going to reluctantly take this job as a chalet girl in Austria, looking after the most amazing chalet for this rich family, and send the money home to her dad. Now, there's all these little backstories that we learn very early on. Kim's mother died when she was young, and Kim was going to be a champion skateboarder, but she's had to put that on hold because she's now working in a burger bar and now moving to Austria to look after her dad. So she goes along, and of course Kim is our moral compass in this film because she's not posh and she's not called Petronella, Antonella, you know, Cinderella or whatever those other girls were called, and she's not critical of everyone else.
Is this a modern day My Fair Lady?
Well, I see where you're coming from, except that nobody tries to change Kim. So there's none of this kind of trying to dress her up or make her speak properly.
Right.
And yeah, that's a good point, because bizarrely in this film, Kim has enough kind of guts to just be herself. And when Bill Nighy, who's the rich dad, brings Brooke Shields, who's his rich wife, and their family along, they actually all treat her quite nicely. So there are kind of a lot of... there are a lot of areas where if this had been any more cliched, it would have been been worse.
An old-fashioned idea in a modern context.
To be a chalet girl?
Yeah, or to be the working class girl turning up into the
I think the point is that
family.
most of the chalet girls are posh girls,
Right.
and they go because they get to ski for 4 months.
And work.
And work, except that most of the time the family isn't even there. So the bizarre thing is you're practically living in this fantastic chalet, and you just have to be ready that the family might rock down at any weekend, right? But the rest of the time you just get to ski and drink beer and run about with the Austrian ski instructors and that sort of thing. So actually it's quite a cushy life. But as I say, Kim's the moral compass that says, I think you're all being a bit sort of vacuous and fatuous and... let's try and keep it real here. But of course, Kim then has to fall in love accidentally with the posh son, played by Ed Westwick from Gossip Girl. So, there are many reasons to see this film, and Ed might be one of them, because at least he smiles in this, which we've never seen before. We've never seen Chuck Bass smile. And he's quite charming in a non-sleazy way, which again, we've never seen before.
Brooke Shields is in there.
Yeah, didn't like her.
No?
No. I think that was an unfortunate step out of retirement, if indeed that's where she's been. No, I just didn't like her.
Yeah.
But Bill Nighy, who actually frustrates me for being in every bloomin' English film, was actually quite nice. But I suppose he softens it by not being a horrible character,
Okay.
The skiing, though, can I just say, the snow is amazing. And it's shot in St Anton in Austria.
White snow?
It is white snow,
Right, okay.
the whitest snow you've ever seen with the bluest skies. And so some of the snowboarding and skiing scenes really do look fantastic. So if you're like a snow fiend, then, you know...
A snow demon.
Yeah, if you're a snow demon, it might be worth going just for that. So, it's weird, man. It's kind of fun. It's kind of really not got much to recommend it, but it's not awful.
Yeah. But see, I've got mates who are snowboarders, and they love watching their snowboarding videos. Is this one that include...
But there's so much else packed into this this particular snowboarding video that I think possibly not for your mates, Wammo.
Okay.
So I would take that, they should take that under advisement.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, it is called Chalet Girl, and we also looked at The Help as well. Check out the reviews in the Sunday Star Times, also at lenalamont.wordpress.com. See you next week.
See you.
That was quite funny. You're a natural.
About how far you need to go
Thought you said she hadn't been in the mountains before. She hadn't.
to conquer your fears and enjoy the ride. Chalet Girl.
I'll put the photos on Facebook.
Poke me.